And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge. I'm Anthony Irwin, as always, joined post game by Raj Chapalu. As you guys can hear from my voice, I am in the middle of my flu game. Jen applied all kinds of makeup to my face to make me look like somewhat presentable. I went a little hard on the chapstick just now. Good Lord, I am in shock, Raj. In absolute shock that the Lakers pulled that game. This was not a game that the Lakers I felt like I had very much confidence going into the fourth quarter for.
No, well, I mean, so I kept trying to preach. I was watching on playback, and everyone was like, "Game over," or saying it's Jover, which I guess is the new thing now. But
you're officially old if you're doing. I guess that's what the kids are saying now.
No, and so I was like, it's only it was like a 12 to 10 point game, but Steph was just best player in the world type of stuff from him tonight. I thought
he was terrifying. Every time he touched the ball, it was just like, what?
He threw the kitchen sink at, like, he was, they treated this like a game 7, and it was GP2 screens after GP2 screen, and then all the help and getting us in rotation. But yeah, I thought, that fourth quarter, when I thought it was over, Anthony, when LeBron got the Steph switch and missed the little bunny at the rim. And then we went the other way, and I'm not sure. I think Steph got a floater, or I forgot what the response was, but they went back up by 2, and I was like, oh, that might be it, right? Like LeBron got exactly what he wanted. He got the Steph switch, got to the basket, and just missed the little bunny, and then they went and scored. I was like, oh, that might do it. But to respond that way, Lonnie Walker, holy crap! Like Austin Reeves, third quarter. Anthony Davis's first half, a lot of stuff to get into, but yeah, I thought that's when it was over, and to push through, to come out on top. We're one game away from a conference finals. Are you serious? I can say that out loud. We're one game away from a conference finals. I'm sweating. I'm wiping sweat off my face because it was just a extremely stressful night. But yeah, I can't believe it. Up 3-1 on the Warriors. Up 3-1.
Lonnie Walker, man. Like, he's trending. I am going to be trending here in about 15 minutes for saying that he can't be the only adjustment that you make, or it's going to be a 5-game series. In fairness, that was a 5-game series. I didn't say for whom. The Lakers right. Can technically win here in 5. Yeah, AD was phenomenal. Lonnie was incredible in a spot that the Lakers really put him in, potentially a tough spot, right? Like, hey, we're having some trouble guarding Steph in the pick and roll. Can you stay attached here in some spots? Can you stay attached to Clay? We're going to need you to hit some big shots also down the stretch. Just an amazing game from Lonnie. And I also want to give some credit to LeBron. LeBron didn't have it, hasn't had it really as a shooter all playoffs. And, you could tell he's like trying to shoot himself out of that shooting slump. That's your only option there is to shoot, right? If you're in a shooting slump, you can't not shoot because you're never going to make your next one, let alone next couple. But every time he was shooting threes, it was just like, oh, it was just they felt like live ball turnovers. Those long rebounds felt like live ball turnovers, and yeah, he was. I will say though. It's pretty clear that he was picking his spots, waiting for that moment where they needed him to start stuffing dudes in baskets. And when he started doing that, the Lakers looked really good. When he started getting his head down, the Lakers looked like a significantly better team.
That whole, first of all, were you screaming the whole game? It sounds like you were screaming the whole time.
Yeah. I'm not even kidding. Avery gave me her stupid little stomach flu, and it took me out. So I am on fumes right now. I've been saving my voice all day. Couldn't talk to either of my kids. Avery comes home, super adorable. Daddy, Daddy. Oh my gosh, I miss you so much, Daddy, Daddy. And I'm like, so I can sit here with my voice cracking to you, Raj. So just know I prioritize talking to you above talking to my own little daughter.
That's one way to phrase it. Yeah, that's a hell of a way to phrase that. But no, that whole fourth quarter and his jump shots, you said you have to shoot. Don't have to shoot all of them, right? Like there's some of those where you don't have to take every single time they go under. And that whole fourth quarter, though, Anthony was just hunting Steph, and some of those took like the whole possession. And the Warriors got so good at it, they were like pre-switching before the Steph hunt was coming. So like he would call over Steph, and then Steph and Clay would switch, and then the re-switch guy would come and set the screen, and that would take like 15 seconds, and then LeBron would attack. I was like, oh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, it got LeBron in a little bit of a rhythm, just having the ball in his hands and getting downhill. Had that one that was almost an and one. The one that pissed me off was the half court three. Like that, there was no need for that, or the logo three, or
Yeah.
maybe it was farther than it looked, but he was able to gut it out. I thought his defense was concerning for the first few
I think
quarters
there were
as well.
4 seconds on the clock when he shot that one, though.
Yeah, maybe the shot clock was going down. Oh my god,
Hmm.
that Dennis behind the back almost became the meme of this game. That
Oh
would have
my God.
that would have became the meme. And yeah, and LeBron had like a few stretches this game where the Lakers made like a 10-0 run, and then like we get the ball, game tied, and he just does not have it. Like he just can't dip into that tank and get it tonight at least. Hopefully it's there in future games, but he just could not dip into that. And Steph would just go on the other end and make some ballistic play, some extreme assist. But yeah, LeBron came through when it mattered. Hit the big. Were you scared when he went to the line? Like all season was like split, 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 and
Yeah.
tonight just calmly knocked down two big free throws to put us up three before Steph missed the two shots over AD over the switches. But yeah, huge. Oh man, I'm tired. But,
I was actually oddly confident in LeBron in those free
okay,
throws. That said, he did hit the front of the rim on the second one, and I was like,
rolled
yeah,
in.
that's the
Yeah.
one you would kind of leave short, you know. He also, so the first one he made really clean right through the hoop. Second one, it felt like, this is confirmation bias for sure, but it felt like LeBron like looked at the basket for longer than he needed to, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna think himself out of this free throw. He's gonna aim this free throw for sure, and the split is coming. But he winds up getting that one to go. Yeah, it's just, Raj, I'm glad that you pointed out that you got the Steph kitchen sink game. The
Yeah.
Lakers got that. They got 42 minutes of Steph. He goes 12 of 30 from the field. I think he either tripled up or more. I think he more than tripled up, or no, more than doubled up the number of pick and rolls that he ran this game compared to any other previous playoff game coming into it this season. 31 points, 14 assists, 10 boards, 3 of 14 from the 3-point line isn't characteristic of like a Steph masterpiece game, but
Mhm.
that's like that. You got everything that you could possibly get from him. You got everything you possibly could from Kerr. He makes the change again, throws Gary Payton II into the starting lineup in this one. And the Lakers took it. I also thought like the Lakers withstood the referee overcorrection game that we kind of saw in this one early on. Draymond was just allowed to beat the shit out of
Do
guys, and it
whatever.
just didn't matter. So yeah, the Lakers, like, this was the game for both teams, and I think both fan bases really were cognizant of it going into this one. This was the season for both teams. I don't think the Lakers would have been able to win two more games with the amount of momentum that the Warriors would have gotten off of this one. I don't think the Warriors can come back from 3-1 here. Knock on wood on the likelihood of that here. So like, we all knew this was going to be the special game. And the Warriors and Steph specifically treated it that way, and the Lakers took it.
Yeah, this had a game 7 feel to it to me. I tweeted out early on. I was like, this feels like a game 7. It felt intense. Even the substitutions. Did you see like LeBron came out for 20 seconds or something like that? He
Yeah.
literally walked to the bench and walked right back to the scorers table. You could see Steph being like, didn't you just come out? Rui came
Did you
in
see
for
what he
like,
said too?
no, I didn't see.
I mean, I'd have to see it again, so I don't want to speak out of turn here, but it looked pretty clear that he was like, Coach, I'm going in. Like, it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
hey,
So he
Coach,
put
I'm
himself
good,
back.
Coach, I'm good. Like, he's like he's like walked past him, saw that the Warriors like that he needed to go back in, and he's like, coach, yeah, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was freaking out. I was like, Rui cannot come in right now. I was like, there's just no way he cannot defend these step actions. And yeah, he just came in and came back out. But no, this was game 7, like playoff intensity between two high level teams, and like they executed pretty nicely back and forth. The Warriors and the Lakers both like chess matches back and forth, right? Like, all right, so they're cooking us with GP2. Now let's switch this. Let's move Anthony Davis onto Andrew Wiggins. We're not saving this adjustment for the next game. Like, we're doing this now. So a lot of like in-game stuff. But yeah, this was the difference between 2-2 and 3-1 is massive. Like, going back, you have to go back to Chase after playing. What did LeBron and AD both played? I think like 45 minutes or some ridiculous amount. Like, imagine have to play all that, lose this game, and then go play in Chase on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Like that,
yeah,
that would suck. And we might just get our doors blown off on
yeah.
Wednesday.
I might earn some donuts that night. Like, I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
no, that's nasty. Don't
Actually,
do
you know
that.
what? I earned some donuts tonight on this one. I parlayed the Heat and the Lakers money line
Okay.
on or no, not money lines. I parlayed both of them covering, and man, both of them just absolutely sweated out both of those games. Not good for the heart. But I actually think I'm probably going to bet on the Lakers in Game 5 because uh, basically like that's the only way that the Lakers could win that I wouldn't make money here. So probably gonna hedge
Mm.
there and wind up taking the Lakers in game 5. But anyway,
Did did they cover
yeah,
tonight?
I what's that?
Did they cover tonight? They
They
did?
did, they
Okay.
did. I got it at
Wow.
2.5, and
Oh, wow.
man, your final tonight. Good time to give that information. 104 to 101 as the Lakers do cover the 2.5 point spread that I got. I think I saw it as low in some spots as one, and I think it started creeping back up
Mm.
at there at the very end. A lot of money came in on the Warriors to win this one, as I think a lot of people thought that the league would want a 7 game series here, and like quite frankly, it was refereed as such. Like again, I think the Lakers were able to withstand a whole bunch of shit here, and we're still able to take this thing. A huge stat here, absolutely monster stat from a team that has been kind of frustrating in this regard. But the Lakers go 20 of 20 from the free throw line. Like that's the kind of shit that
Wow.
you do. Like that's the kind of shit
I did
that
not
you
know that.
do. Yeah, when you are
Holy
absolutely
crap.
focused. Yeah, how Raj? Like how many times in big games were you sitting there like, really? You absolutely need this game, and you're going like 7 of 13 from the free throw line. Like that's the spot that you're gonna pick to do this. But the Lakers go 20 of 20 from the line here. They overcome 24% 3 point shooting. 6 of 25 is what they shoot on the night there. The Warriors shoot 41 3 point attempts. They shoot 29% on those. They get to the line despite shooting those 41 3 point attempts 12 times over the course of the game. And yeah, I just think
They weren't
the
calling
way that I
anything
was I was kind
tonight.
of framing this coming into tonight. So this is what the third different starting lineup that Kerr has used
Yeah.
right tonight. That is indicative to me of the Lakers being the better team, being the better team. That the other team is just like throwing shit at the wall, trying to figure out how they're gonna sneak out an extra game here and there. That the Lakers have been able to stick with the same starting lineup from start to finish. Now they're adjusting mid game. You have Vanderbilt playing only 11 minutes in this one. And
Mhm.
and so they're making their adjustments as they have to, but they haven't had to adjust their starting group. And that to me, you look at the desperation there from Kerr. I think the Lakers are the better team here.
Not just the starting lineup, their whole system is changed. Like they've switched from the motion stuff where it's just Steph's like, give me the ball. Like I have to make every single play. Like every single action is me. Wow, hi Sabrina. Yeah, so like they had to switch all their stuff up. They're no longer running their motion stuff. It's all Steph high ball screen stuff. And so yeah, we've made them not only adjust their starting lineup, obviously three different starters in there, but we've also made them switch their actual offense that they're running. And we've kind of stayed the same in terms of what we like to do. So yeah, I think that's a sign that we're the better team, and it shows. We're up 3-1.
Sabrina, Thank you for joining us. I basically put in the Slack who wants to laugh at me for saying that Lonnie Walker can't be the key to the turnaround in the series, and you were like, "I'm there in 10." I'm
10
not. Can you believe what we're watching? What's that?
I just want to share really quick because I was texting Sabrina earlier. I was like, I wonder if Steph shoots 30 times this game, and he shoots exactly 30 times this game.
Yeah. No, I didn't see this coming, the Lonnie Walker game, but he was pretty good in game 3. Just like pushed the pace a little bit, didn't take anything away defensively. I thought he was actually good defensively today, as opposed to just like not hurting. That steal that he has in the fourth quarter, takes it all the way. There are a few Lakers I trust more in transition now, honestly, than Lonnie Walker, which is a weird thing to say. Like LeBron makes some weird decisions too, even.
I think he might still be their best athlete. And I think that's where like the transition game is where athleticism really kind of shows out.
LeBron on a
there's
broken
nobody
foot,
who's
I definitely
contesting
would take Lonnie, as an athlete over LeBron at this point. But
yeah.
It's just so cool more than anything. Like this is a guy who, through no fault of his own, is out of the rotation, right? I mean, I don't want to say through no fault of his own because he could have played defense for the first 30 games or so. But like he wasn't playing measurably worse than like Malik Beasley or, obviously offering more offensively than Troy Brown. It was just a matter of roster construction that sort of knocked him out of the rotation. And the fact that he got injured, right? Like, which is always just sucky for guys when they get injured and all of a sudden things coalesce in their absence. But like you always hear people talk about staying ready and yada, 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 but like nobody ever does it, right? Like you don't just dig in for a guy who hasn't played for 30 games.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a nice mantra, but like, can you think of somebody who in the past like 4 postseasons just didn't play for 30 games and all of a sudden was making a meaningful impact in the final 8?
Oof. Yeah, no, I mean, not in that spot. Not being asked, hey, we need you in the fourth quarter to handle business here,
score
hit
50,
big shots,
15 points. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you mentioned like the coolness of the story and look, like I'm biased because Lonnie has come on the show and was an absolute darling when he was on the show. He was like a legit, like funny, nice, engaging guy. But then on top of that, like you mentioned, Sabrina, I thought at the beginning of the season when everything was at its worst, I think he was the one guy that we were like, hey, at least like that's happening, like, he's fun. And then Schroeder gets healthy, and they wind up pushing Walker to small forward essentially, and turn him when he was playing his best. He was on the ball. He had some creative responsibilities, stuff like that. Then he goes to small forward, and he becomes a 3-and-D wing because he's the only guy, from that assortment of 6'2" people to be able to do that kind of a thing. His game fall. Probably not. Patrick Beverley was trying to keep the Lakers out of the playoffs back then too. He's committed to the bit. But then, he doesn't succeed in that role. Then gets hurt. Then the Lakers trade for a bunch of people at his position, and then now they call his name. Not even now. Last game they call his name out of like what felt like sheer desperation, right? Like we talked about the stuff that Kerr is doing as a means to like get back into the series. The Walker pitch, like anybody who was dunking on me, and by the way, like dunk away. Like I'm happy to be wrong on this front because it means the Lakers are now up 3-1. But I dare any of you fuckers to tell me that you were confident in Lonnie Walker getting into that game. I dare any of you. But yeah, like it was just like to go from that and then to have this game to back it up, right? Because I was, partially because I'm a stubborn asshole. I thought for sure, like, okay, maybe that was kind of a fluky thing. Not really sure we're going to throw that pitch again. They throw the pitch again, and he's even better. How, Raj? Like, explain to me, like, what about his game has translated in this way?
Well, I'm sad that like no one's gonna remember from the 2-10 start, but like Lonnie Walker was legit fun at that time, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that's a terrible team." I'm like, Lonnie, our late game offense is actually Lonnie Walker and Anthony Davis pick and rolls, and he won us like 2 Spurs game. Again, no one remembers anymore, but like that was a really fun time in that section. And D'Angelo Russell went 1 for 10 tonight. Like D'Lo, our starting guard, went 1 for 10.
Yeah, he was bad.
And And like the ball pressure from GP2 really got to him, and we just threw Lonnie Walker in there. And like the idea of staying ready is kind of like you spoke about, Sabrina, is kind of like LeBron and AD are going to draw so much attention. Be ready to make open shots, right? That's kind of what the stay ready moniker is. But that's not what happened tonight. It was Lonnie Walker creating pull-up jump shots over Steph Curry time and time again, hitting like step back threes. That floater that he hit, like off the pick and roll, he was in the air, couldn't decide whether to give it to AD or not, and he was in the air long enough to finish. I was like, holy crap, that is an extremely difficult shot. And yeah, it's cool to watch him. He has all the skills. Like his scoring talent was never the question. It was will you defend long enough? And they have him on clay chasing around. He's athletic enough to get around screens. And they're switching a lot of those actions as well. So yeah, it's been cool to be able to throw him out. D'Lo not playing well, you could just throw in another guard and he picks up the slack. That's absurd. I think he had like 15 in the fourth. And where LeBron didn't have any. Yeah, and where LeBron had nothing going, where it was like, give the ball to Lonnie Walker, which is a crazy thing to say with Anthony Davis on the floor, LeBron James on the floor, but that was the matchup. They were trying to hide Steph Curry somewhere, and we were like matchup hunt the whole time, and Lonnie come and set those screens, and he was ready, and he hit big shots. This is the Lonnie Walker game. That's what it is. He won us a playoff game. Like, it's the Lonnie Walker game.
Game 4.
What a luxury that you have, a player like that on your bench who you can just say, all right, well, you've switched off LeBron, you've switched off, like Austin, you switched off D'Lo. Steph's got to guard somebody. And yeah, it's amazing.
They were hunting Steph pretty mercilessly. I think part of it was a foul trouble, but like every single possession, basically, the Lakers were trying to find Steph out there. And yeah, Raj, you mentioned sometimes it took a little too long. Sometimes as it will sometimes happen when you're hunting mismatches like that, the offense will occasionally get stuck in the mud. But even when it did, if it found that matchup, the Lakers were for the most part taking real advantage of it. And Steph has really improved as a defender, but that is still the thing. Like when people talk about like, man, if he wins another title here, what are we going to do with his like GOAT status? I'm sorry, I can't recall like Michael or LeBron getting hunted on defense when they were healthy. Like I just, that is not something that I recall from any of the actual GOATs that we talk about there. Last thing on Lonnie
series first before we talk about Steph like that. Let's win this. Let's get Pat. Let's win the series first.
It's not even that he's like a bad defender necessarily. It's just that you need to tire him out, and he has to work. It's not
he's small.
So much that it's more effective to target him, I think, than even Poole had he been playing, because Steph's the one who is going to be running their best offense, and you just want to make him work, right? Like it's like that. When they were starting to go at Anthony Davis, like Memphis was starting to go at Anthony Davis in the start of the other series. And it was like, yeah, this is stupid. But at the same time, like AD, has fatigue at a certain point. Like he has to keep working to deter all of these shots. And so I kind of get the premise of just, trying to tire people out. Like Rush said, I'm not here to denigrate Steph Curry in any shape at all.
I'm doing it. No.
Do it after.
He can easily win the next 3 games on his own.
Yeah.
I'm not last thing on the bear, okay?
Should I dress up like Dylan Brooks? Just go to call a quick break, take my shirt off, and put on that super heavy jacket that I stupidly wore the other night. Last thing on Walker, though, the way that the guys reacted to him having that game is, again, indicative of like the guy's character. It really, like you said, Sabrina, it is a mantra. It is a cliche. Stay ready because that way you don't have to get ready, whatever. There's that aspect of it. A lot of guys are like us, saying like, man, none of us would stay ready. Like that for sure would not normally happen. And then the other part of it too is like, I really think it goes back to like he is like a legitimately good, like kind of soulful guy, and I think when good dudes have good things happen to them, and obviously like there's the clutch aspect of it too, and that's like a family thing that like you see these guys who share agents. That's a bond that is really worth noting and all that. But still, definitely, the whole team was like really soaking in that moment with Lonnie, and that was so awesome to watch. That was incredible. Jen was like watching. He's like, wait, isn't that the guy who was on your show? And I was like, yeah, he can't wrap gifts, but he can wrap up games. Let's go. Like it was phenomenal. All right, let's move on. I think we're all probably in agreement here. Lakers probably are getting beaten fairly handily.
Getting trucked in game 5.
Should they even board the flight? Should just LeBron and AD stay here and like
the rare forfeit?
I think it'll be okay.
just get the treatment? Like, why even go to Golden State? Like, just stay here. Come and win Game 6 on Friday.
The super rare playoff forfeit, where they're just like, no, I think
it's not that rare. We just did it last series.
Yeah, LeBron.
Yeah, but like an actual, like we essentially did it, but we like an actual, like nobody actually goes to the game.
Lonnie, let it ride.
It is going to be a little weird when Shaq Harrison starts in on Steph. It's going to be like, guys, don't make it that obvious. Moving forward, Sabrina, I was literally going to message you to ask you, like, hey, do you feel any different about the Lakers' chances at a championship now? Last time we spoke, you said absolutely not. 0%, 0%. I am not the only one who's going to get dunked on here. But do you like the Lakers' chances? Is it up to like 1%?
I wasn't prepared to answer this. I forgot that I committed so strongly the last time I was on the show.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't think LeBron looks good enough to be the number one option on a title team.
It is terrifying. Yeah.
But nobody in the playoffs looks good.
Yeah.
I think this is more just, I don't trust any team right now. Like Boston is just choking games away, even though I think they collectively have the most talent of any team. Philadelphia, like, God forbid, I'm going to actually put faith in James Harden and Doc Rivers to succeed in, a championship level again. Like that's not going to happen. I mean, Miami feels like they're doing this on smoke and mirrors. Like, yeah, they have Jimmy Butler, but I don't really understand how the rest of this is going. And Denver and Phoenix, like, do either of those teams play defense? I'm not entirely sure. So I still have the same concerns I have about the Lakers, but the rest of the field is so unimpressive that I am going to have to, unfortunately, retract my previous statement.
Yeah, I really think that's the point to make here, though. It's a really flawed field. Every single team has something wrong with them, and it just becomes a matter of like, do you have the pieces to win 4 of the next 7 games twice? Whenever the Lakers have that opportunity. Raj, moving forward here in this series, where do the Warriors go? Like, they threw the Steph game at him. Do you think Steph has that game 2 more times? Because that's what they need. Well, 3 more times, really. Because if they actually want to win the series, but to force a game 7, I don't even know if he has 2 of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they're going to go the same starting lineup again. I think they found a little bit of success with that. I just think it's so taxing for him, right? Like every shot being a step back 3 or where he has to create every single basket. And he threw his whole, I thought he threw the kitchen sink tonight trying to get this win. But I think that's where they go with it. They don't have that many answers, especially you put another non-shooter, in the lineup. And I thought that did muck things up for them. And Anthony Davis started switching more. That was our counter to them running so many screens. They're like, we're just going to switch AD up top and dare anyone else to kind of beat us. And Steph hit some floaters. I thought tonight our defense was fine. It was our offense that just did not come through. Yeah. LeBron, again, the layups at the rim, Dennis Schroeder throwing behind the back passes for no reason.
There were at least 3 Dennis passes that I was just like, I know I bat for this guy a lot, but I'm regretting it.
Yeah, and like D'Angelo Russell going 1 for 10, not being able to, handle the ball pressure and get anything loose. So I thought our defense was good. We made them work for every basket. Clay played 41 minutes, had 9 points. He just could not get free either. So I think we're starting to really lock in, but that's where they go, just more on-ball Steph. Like I texted you from me, I was like, does Steph shoot 30 tonight? And he did, and that's kind of the answer for them because there's nowhere else to go. You took another shooter off, quote-unquote, with Jermichael Green and put in GP2. That's more just Steph, like create, and that's a lot for him, especially if he's getting picked on the other end. But yeah, I think the Warriors probably win Game 5 on Wednesday before we come back. You can do it one more time. Go ahead, Steph. Go do it one more time, and then that's it.
I do think though that the Lakers, jokes aside, they do have to make it somewhat competitive, and they do have to tax Curry a little bit. If they play Game 5 and Curry is able to play like 25 minutes and get a reset, and then he can have this game again back in LA, That's the one thing that the Lakers, I think, really have to avoid. So finding some way to make him work as long as he can possibly work, I think really is basically the priority. But also, like, LeBron knows you got to win elimination games when you have that opportunity. And I think he didn't take. I don't think he take. Well, we can say this objectively. He did not take Memphis as seriously as he's going to take the Warriors.
No.
So the idea of like giving the Warriors extra chances to beat them, I am kind of curious how LeBron is going to approach this. Maybe not personally. I think we'll probably see that kind of, all right, let's see if we can stay attached long enough, and then I'll take over in the fourth kind of approach again, because I think that's all he can really muster. But if you do that, then you run the risk of those, like, Chase Center avalanches that just break your soul. We do have to, AD in the game's biggest moment, an entire game's worth of chasing Steph around these pick and rolls, getting back and recovering. He finishes the game with 23 points, 15 boards, no block shots, which is kind of weird. But Sabrina, like, we've talked a lot about, like, Jaren Jackson had a great season and all that stuff, and this and that and the other. But AD is still the best defensive player on the planet. I'm not particularly sure it's close here, and I hate that cliche, but I really don't think it's close here with anybody touching AD defensively.
Draymond does some good stuff. I'm always impressed with Draymond as a defender. He got up to block Schroeder, I think it was in the second half. Whenever he gets up, I'm just like, he can jump too. Draymond can do that.
I think Schroeder felt the same way, because he laid that up so casual. And he was just like, da. Oh shit, Draymond Green? What?
But yeah, with AD's combination of physical tools and smarts, like, there's just no comparison for him defensively in the league. And to just stay with Steph, like, on an island for that entire possession. I mean, Steph was shook. Like, he just had no options. Nobody should be able to guard Steph Curry like that. Like, he is a generational offensive player. And yet, after being worn down for 48 minutes and, having to meet AD on the other side of all of these screens, and just, like, the number of guys trying to body him up the entire game, like, that's why you do that. So that in that moment, Steph looks mortal.
His asks are insane. What we're asking him to do, like, so
they start too, but both of them.
Both those guys.
But for AD, like, we're asking him to. They started him on GP2, and he has to, like, come up on the screen, come back, defend the rim, take away the three, and then get the rebound. Right, like LeBron, I thought was really bad on the boards today. AD finished with 15 rebounds. Don't know how many offensive rebounds he had, but it felt like he was the only one really down there. And they're like, Anthony, we talked about this earlier. They let everything go tonight. It was just, I think it's called no holds barred in wrestling or whatever sport that is. But like, so like they just let everything go tonight. And AD was fighting with like 3 arms on him, Wiggins on his back, Draymond like holding him from the bottom, and still having to like 2-hand rebound it, get hit in the face and stuff like that. Like, it's just, and the ask for him. And then we put him on Wiggins later on so he can play off him, and then he has to like get back to Wiggins, go back again, rebound. Just, it's insane. I'm not sure another big man that you can like put on Steph and be like, take away the 3 and take away the rim. Like, he has to take like super contested shot for one possession. Can you do it twice? But yeah, offensive rebound. But it's just, I don't know another big man you can put in this spot that can do what he's asked to do for this team. So he
had that one defensive rebound that I think was low-key one of the bigger plays of the game, where I think the Warriors had, they were in the middle of a run, and it just felt like it was 1-3 away from really breaking the Lakers' backs and having one of those third quarters that end playoff games, And AD comes down, and like you're talking about, Raj, all kinds of contact. Like, every rebound that everybody grabbed tonight was a grown man rebound. Like, that was
right.
Every single rebound that was grabbed tonight was brutal to watch. Jen was watching. Because there was the tip that Steph fetched and then threw right out of bounds instead of, Steph, you actually had a timeout in that situation. But like he gets up and Jen's like, did somebody try to slit his throat? What happened to his neck? And it's just like and like I've talked with a few people here, either on the pod, I've written about it, and then talking to people kind of behind the scenes. And it's like, the league needs that kind of physicality. And this game between these two, kind of like, you think of both these teams as, Hollywood and the 3-point shooting team, and you wouldn't think of physicality, and both of these teams brought it. But anyway, AD gets that one rebound where he's just like, I think it was his left, right? He was like left hand out down there by they were defending the basket on the right side of the court. He grabs it with his left hand while somebody's like grabbing his right arm, and he barely leaves the ground because, again, somebody's grabbing his right arm, and you're just like, it's really rare that a rebound will make you go, whoa. And that absolutely did. And the Lakers, I think he grabs that rebound. They come down on the other end. They hit a three. And instead of it being like, another offensive rebound that leads to a Golden State three that blows the game open to 10, instead the Lakers come down, they make their three, and it's a 4-point game instead of a 10-point game. And it's just like small things like that, 23 and 15 doesn't exactly jump off of the scorebook to you. But defensively, the stuff that he is doing is just so astronomically hard. And I really wish it was better broken down on shows that are bigger than this one, so that people could actually kind of look at it. And it's like I kept on hearing over the course of the show, every other game AD, every other game AD. It's like, so even on national broadcast, even on platforms like that, you're not talking about what he's doing defensively. Like, we're not going to mention it. That was wild to hear. And then to not really hear him get his flowers over the course of the game either, as he was doing that, was it was incredible to hear it, and then it was even better to watch. In
fairness to the even game AD situation, though, like, he was bad defensively on game 2. Like, he didn't bring it the way that the Lakers needed.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have bad games, but but it's just his bad game defensively is because, like, they're asking him to do so much, also, and he's like, actually, I'm exhausted.
Front and
like I'm so tired.
Just, like, maybe rotate over to the guy taking like once, you or D'Lo, just one of them.
Yeah, right. Like, he's watching D'Angelo Russell's like, man, I need to get a sweat in, guys. Like, do you think, like, what, like, how's everybody doing? And AD's just like,
It's true. The
D'Lo, rotate, please. But yeah, it was watching what he's doing defensively is just incredible. And I also thought offensively he kept the Lakers in it while LeBron was playing pretty bad in the first half. I think he scored like 16 first half points, and he kind of went away as the game went on. But that was when LeBron figured out, like, okay, I got to start stuffing people in baskets. I thought it was a great AD game. I thought it was a really cool, like, great AD game.
So good.
And not all minutes are created equal, right? Like, he had 43 minutes in this one, and those were just absolutely dreadful minutes. Like, he's sprinting all over the court on defense, and then on offense, like, that window for the pick and roll, they're running like the pick and roll for him. He's like catching at the free throw line. Draymond's just right there. Looney like is in the right in the paint. He's just taking these tough like mid-range jumpers. I thought like 5 of his shots were and ones that they just did not call. They're like, just run the other way. You made that. So it was like 8 floaters on there and stuff like that. But
the one that he made to tie the game at 84, like when the Warriors had to call timeout, like I was like, wait, did I miss the free throw when they came back from the break? Like, did they not call it?
It was really weird. Like, I know that I've spent a lot of time like tweeting and complaining about the referees, and certainly in that game, it felt like the kind of game that like you assigned Scott Foster to help extend the series and all that stuff, and he does Scott Foster things. Although in fairness, like, he did some Scott Foster things to the Warriors too. Steve Kerr's complaining about the 3 moving screens in the fourth quarter. It turns out like when you move on your screen, it puts you it makes you susceptible to having moving screens called. But yeah, I really thought like it didn't feel to me like the Lakers it felt in the Memphis series where like you're complaining, and there was a lot of complaints about the lack of free throws that the Lakers were shooting in that series and some of those games. But that was because the Lakers had a soft approach to that game. I thought in this one they were still like trying to get to the basket and for whatever reason weren't necessarily getting the same calls. I don't know. I keep coming back to the Warriors have tried everything to get this series back to competitive, and you got like this Steph game and this Steph approach, and you got the way that this game, the physicality that the Warriors were allowed to defend with in this game, and the Lakers have absorbed all of it, and now have a 3-1 lead. Like I don't think there's a team left right now that has had a more impressive second round than the Lakers. And again, I don't think it's very close here, Sabrina.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I mean, I'm sure the Heat have been good, but like they also have a lesser opponent that they're going up against than the Lakers do, so that changes things. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right, just in terms of like understanding exactly what they need to do. Like I think Lakers have scouted the Warriors so incredibly well in this series.
Yes.
Like, yeah, they were a little bit thrown off by the JaMychal Green thing in game 2, but I don't think they were playing hard enough defensively in that game anyway. You know, like, yeah, the JaMychal Green thing made it look like, oh, the Lakers were thrown off by the fact that, hey, the Warriors are spacing. I don't think the intensity was there to begin with. And once they made the adjustment, it was like, all right, well, this is done. Like they can't play JaMychal anymore. Like we've gotten to the point where Kevon Looney, he was regularly putting like 20 rebounds per game in that Sacramento series, and he's playing 10 minutes against the Lakers because they can't find a way to get Kevon Looney on the court.
Yeah.
Like, this is a big team. That's wild that they can't figure out a way to get their center on the court. It's so impressive. Like this is the defending champions, right? And the Lakers are a team that did not make the playoffs last year, have, a lot of players in their rotation who are just not experienced with this stage, right? Lonnie Walker barely played for San Antonio when they made the playoffs. And like, even then, those are basically just a couple first round series, right? D'Lo, I think historically is one of the worst playoff performers of all time, right? Like this stretch of, missed field goals that he's had, to open his playoff career. Just like Austin Reeves, this is his first experience, right? Anthony Davis, and LeBron have been there, but like, this is not a team that should have the mental know-how of doing this, right? Like we have a rookie head coach too. And yet every time the Warriors come at them, it's just like they feel like the Lakers feel like the more mentally composed team, the more like reassured team that we know that we can beat you guys. We know that we have advantages against you guys. And I'm just so impressed by that like belief and that like attitude, because you would expect it to be the complete opposite, right?
We look at the minutes dispersals in this game. Draymond Green 37 minutes, Andrew Wiggins 39 minutes, Steph 42 minutes, Clay 41 minutes. Everybody else, the next closest player is Gary Payton. He played 23 minutes. You mentioned JaMychal Green. He played 2 minutes. 2 minutes, he was left wide open, missed both shots. Kerr was like, get the fuck over here. And then Kevon Looney, 11 minutes. DDV, 15 minutes. Poole, 10 minutes. Moody played 19 minutes. Moody wasn't even in their rotation heading into the playoffs. And then you look at the Lakers. Decent.
Yeah,
Moody was fine. Yeah, he had a huge block on AD on what would have been a putback that would have brought the house down.
Behind. Yeah.
You look at the Lakers. So obviously LeBron, AD, they're going to play their 43 minutes. A starter, Jared Vanderbilt, plays 11 minutes. They go away from him. They find some other way to find an impact there. Lonnie Walker plays 27. Dennis Schroeder plays 35. Austin Reeves plays 34. D'Angelo Russell plays his 31. There's so much more trust, I think, where like it's so much easier for him, easier for lack of a better term, because he is still going up against the reigning champions as a rookie head coach in this spot. But he's pressing buttons and he's throwing pitches and counter punches and all this stuff. And he can do that. And this is, I think, the greatest credit that you can give to Darvin Ham. He trusts his guys to a fault. Like Lonnie Walker stays ready because I'm sure Darvin Ham has probably gone, and his coaching staff have gone out of their way to be like, hey man, you are way too talented to just like have your season end here and stay after it and stay after it and stay after it. And, after this series, it's probably going to be a reset. Rui Hachimura only played 14 minutes in this one. If they play either of these teams moving forward here next, he's going to be a bigger factor there. They're going to reset. Ham has probably stayed after him, been like, hey, you were huge for us in round 1. We had to go away from you in round 2. Get ready for round 3 if that happens. And yeah, like it's just, it is wild, absolutely, Sabrina, to see this team that has like even AD's experience is just the bubble. Like he had like early playoff experience, but it was with the New Orleans team that wasn't going anywhere. So it's
Right,
basically just LeBron. It's basically just LeBron. Everybody else is just like learning on the fly here, and you're still having moments like you're having, and sometimes that goes to your benefit, where you're almost like too inexperienced, inexperienced to feel the moment, but still, they're having these moments while LeBron is telling him, hey, this is what this moment calls for. This is what this team calls for. This is the approach that you have to have with this team. This is going to go down almost regardless of how the season ends as one of my favorite Lakers teams ever. This is so much fun to watch.
That's so weird, Anthony. This is so weird.
Isn't it? Am I wrong?
Up until February 6th, you actively hated this team.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that I'm not a big vampire guy,
Oh, man.
But
this year.
Am I wrong though? Like, Raj, am I wrong? This has to be like, this is gonna be, and look, obviously, like, if they lose in extra games, and we're talking about something very different, and something will have happened that my opinion on them changes. But like, almost like aside from that, this team it looks like it's gonna make a Western Conference Finals. Half these guys weren't on the team 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
We gotta tone this down.
No. So I just want to go on something really quick. On Christmas Day, like Darvin Ham put out a Russell Westbrook at center lineup, right? And I remember everyone's like, what the hell is this? And like, to go from that to we're like, are we sure Darvin Ham can coach, to like now where he's going toe to toe? And to me, this is like I know these aren't the NBA finals, but this feels like it from like a chess match from like the two teams where the way that they can execute. And this is back and forth, going back and forth with Steve Kerr, who's won 4 titles in the last 10 years, going back and forth, match for match for him, and matching moves, and it's been insane. And you talked about Kevon Looney being unplayable. Jordan Poole played 10 minutes. Like, Jordan Poole, who's like the guy they invested in, played 10 minutes because the basketball is so high level that if you're just out there space head, you can't play. Like, you just cannot survive on the floor. And so Ham being able to go to Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, and I kind of want to pull him into this too. Austin Reeves tonight was just like, yeah, this is my game. Like, I'm hunting Steph on pick and rolls, and I'm pulling up. He won game 1 against Jaren Jackson Jr. Hit some big threes in game 1 on the. Yeah, huge ones tonight to keep us close, and it's just insane. Like, that's also not normal as well, right? This team being together so for so little time, and then Austin Reeves being our, hey, like, we need a basket. Can we go to Austin Reeves for shots? Like, that's insane. A guy in his first playoffs, and then LeBron in like a role that he's never been in before, where he's like the guy that's screening and almost being a decoy a lot of the times. Like, they're hunting the switch to get the guards looks. Like, it's just never happened in a LeBron James like run. So yeah, it's just insane. I can't believe we're almost here. I'm gonna say that, Sabrina, just to preface it for you. Yeah, almost
there. Sabrina, this is like one of the crazier stories we've ever witnessed. Like, this is crazier than the Kobe request a trade and then that team gets to the finals season. This is wild.
True. I thought that season was going to be so terrible, and it ended up, like you said, one of the most enjoyable Lakers seasons of all time, even if they ended up losing in the finals, just because of the dichotomy from where we started to where we ended. But I just wish we'd had more than 3 months with these guys, right? Like, it's been 3 months since the trades basically, and LeBron missed a month of that with the foot. And even, while they're, fighting to make the playoffs, like, it's hard to know how good they are because they're coming up against these teams that are deliberately tanking, or everyone has different motivations at that time of the year. And, we collectively lose our minds when they go into Houston without a starting center, just lose a game to the Rockets. And I'm not going to say that this has been the most enjoyable 3 months. Okay. It's been really, really nervy the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean,
that Minnesota playing game was hell.
We're a couple weeks removed, right, from the Minnesota playing game when we needed Dennis Schroeder, to save our asses in the fourth quarter. And, AD tried to give it away at the end too. Like, thank goodness they know how to defend last second plays for 3-pointers now. I'm really happy that has been a sign of improvement. The audacity of the Golden State Warriors to run a hammer play against Darvin Ham's team, it's disrespectful, honestly. Disrespectful.
Yeah.
But, it's so weird to watch this team grow. He's the one it's named after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's literally.
How did I miss this?
Yeah, it's literally. Some other time we'll go over this.
What?
We ran it for Matt Ryan, I think, to beat the Pelicans earlier this year, or to tie it. Was that
to tie it? To send it to overtime. They won in overtime.
Yes,
No, but
yes.
it's so weird that like we're still seeing this team come together at this point in the conference finals. Like this is the point where you're supposed to be like flexing like what you've already learned throughout the course of the season. This is not when you're just like trying a new shit out. Like, hey, Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, LeBron, and AD. That lineup's never played together before, but hey, it's Game 4 against the Golden State Warriors. Only really a must-win situation for the Lakers. This is the time to try it. So weird. So weird.
But I mean,
this is so weird.
It goes back to the point you made about the field, though. Like normally, you're absolutely right, Serena. Like trying stuff out right now, throwing shit at the wall, normally just means you have a bunch of shit on your wall. Like that. At this point of the playoffs, like this is like trying new stuff out doesn't normally go so well. But with so many of these teams so flawed right now, the Warriors are doing the same thing. They're trying new. I'm surprised we didn't see Kuminga. Which, by the way, like. Your team is that desperate.
Yeah.
Your team is that desperate, and Kerr's still like, no.
Don't say it too loud. He might hear you. Like,
maybe it makes D'Lo happy, you know, that like, oh, they traded me for Wiggins and Kuminga, but at least that guy can't get on the court.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised. I'm legitimately surprised because there were some like reports that Iguodala was like, getting ready to potentially practice and stuff like that. I thought for sure he was starting in this game. I thought for sure like we were gonna get like Andre Iguodala. Yeah. I could talk about this one forever. I probably shouldn't. I won't be able to talk tomorrow. But this was an absolute blast. Again, the Lakers cover. They win 104-101. Avery, you're getting donuts in the morning. On the back of Anthony Davis playing incredible defense. LeBron picks his spots. Reeves finishes, Raj, to your point, 21 points on 7 of 15 from the field. Some absolute monster threes, too. 3 of 6 from three-point range.
Third quarter was huge.
Yeah, Raj, I'm really glad you mentioned, like, the stones on that guy is pretty bananas. It's insane. Like, the stuff that he's just willing to step up and do. Unbelievable.
It's not normal. Like, the free throws thing really blinded like how good he is, which is so annoying. And then this series, everyone's like, oh, he needs to shoot better. He's chasing Klay Thompson and Steph Curry around all game. Like, yeah, he's going to be short on a few jump shots. And tonight to come through with the legs, like obviously he's gassed, I'm sure. But the threes that he hit, that assist that he had to LeBron, I think in transition or to AD, and then just him running our offense, or like when we have nothing going, we give it to Austin Reeves to like run pick and roll. Like, it's an absurd thing to say, but that's really what happens. Like our offense goes to Austin Reeves, and I'm extremely comfortable with it. He's either going to get fouled, hit a mid-range pull-up, or make the correct step back. And that's just insane to say about a guy in his first playoff. So, yeah, he's nuts. He's nuts.
Not just first play, second season. He's an undrafted second-year player. This is unprecedented. Like, it doesn't happen. This is like, remember when Manu was like starting to play well and people were like, holy shit, this second rounder, right?
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Tony Parker, I think a late first rounder too.
Late first,
and,
yeah.
Yeah. And you're kind of looking at their team. You're like, man, look at all these guys. It's just completely untested. Manager
Ginobili kind of just seemed like a market inefficiency, like nobody was scouting internationally.
Right, yeah. It's not like the Lakers' new market inefficiency is showing up to farms in Arkansas and finding new guys there. Like there was entire countries that weren't being like scouted back then when Manu came out. And no, like this is just so incredible to watch. Yeah, I don't know, man. I got to think about it. I'm going to think about it for a while. I really think this season is going to be pretty high up there for me in terms of like storyline and a script and all of that stuff.
Yeah, there's just nothing to compare it to, right? Like we mentioned this with Lonnie earlier and Austin too. Like I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody obvious, but like, I was watching the TNT feed and EJ was like joking that I haven't seen a fourth quarter performance like that since Landry Shamet last night. But like Landry Shamet was a first round pick. He's been in Phoenix's rotation. He's not just showing up
for the Clippers. Like
he's
he
played
had
the playoffs for
moments.
the Sixers and the Clippers and like the Nets before. So it's not like this is the first time for him. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, this is, oh man. According to Mark Spears, everyone in Staples Center has been told to evacuate the building.
Staples.
Well, I think Spears tweeted that out in haste, but hope everybody is safe there, gets out of there safely, and all of that. I'm not even gonna make a joke because of the country we live in. Sucks to end it on that note. Again, really hope everybody is safe out there back home in LA. Lakers win 104-101 here. Thank you very much, Raj, as always, for hopping in. Thank you very much, Sabrina, for stepping in on short notice. Although that selling point is pretty tough to turn down. Like, hey, do you want to come in and laugh at me? Like I totally understand anybody for taking that opportunity. One of these days, like maybe I'll do like an extra lounge tomorrow or something, and I'll just tweet out the link here to a StreamYard thing and just have people rotate in and laugh for like 30 seconds and then get out. But again, Lakers win 104-101, take a 3-1 series lead, and hopefully it'll turn out better than the 3-1 series lead that Steph held over LeBron. I think it really will, though. I think the Lakers wind up winning this one in 6, and we'll be able to move on, hopefully with a rest advantage, as I think the Denver series is probably going 7. I don't think either of those teams are winning a road game. So thanks, guys. Thank you for listening to whatever is going on in my throat. Hopefully that'll be better tomorrow as well, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.